Today's episode is sponsored by NordPass Business, a solution that combines a password manager, access manager, and online threat detector all into one tool. First, NordPass allows you to easily and securely store, manage, and share passwords, passkeys, credit card details, and other sensitive information. Beyond that, it offers a range of features designed to monitor data breaches and identify weak, old, or reused passwords within an organization. NordPass also enables you to seamlessly control who has access to what company resources, helping you make sure that no outsiders can take a peek. You can now enjoy 3 months of NordPass Business for free. Just head over to www.nordpass.com/Swisspreneur and use the code Swisspreneur.
In our investment solutions at Findependent, we also have bonds and we have real estate. We will very soon have gold as well. But stocks is really the most important asset class because over a very long period of time, it gives you the highest return. And yeah, just because of that, actually.
Welcome to the Swisspreneur Show, a podcast about startup stories and learnings from experienced entrepreneurs. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a rating. And now, here's your host, Sylvan.
Matthias, very well welcome to the Swisspreneur Show. It's a pleasure to have you as a guest today.
Thanks for having me.
You are the founder of Findependent, an app to make investing transparent, easy, but also beneficial for everyone regardless of prior knowledge. A topic near and dear to my heart, personal finance. You actually studied banking and finance, so you already have the background there. Then did an internship at Credit Suisse to see the traditional banking world. But then you went on to work for Neon, the neobank that we also had on the podcast before. How did this first startup experience sort of broaden your horizons?
Actually, there was a very, very important experience in my journey, not just as a founder, but also as a professional, because it was completely different. The summer I spent at Credit Suisse and the summer I spent at Neon was completely different. and after the two, I totally knew where I belonged, because at Neon, it was very small office. It was a very hot summer, actually. Mm-hmm. There was no air condition. You could open the windows, but then there was a construction site on the other side of the street. So it was very loud. So actually the working environment was really bad, but what we worked on and what we did was so inspiring, building something new, building a new product, an app that actually puts the customer in the center. Mm-hmm. This was so inspiring to me that I very quickly realized that this is where I want to work. And not in a traditional bank as Credit Suisse.
And then is that also sort of where it happened that you then said, hey, this inspired me to eventually start my own company?
Yes, actually a bit. I could have stayed at Neon, which would also have been a very interesting route.
Right.
But I was so motivated. I got so enthusiastic about the idea about creating something that I thought I could even do something on my own, which actually the first idea was not what is today Findependent. The first idea is what is today fintip.ch. It's a website where I just put together different fintech products with the idea that customers could create their own banking package, with using best-in-class product for each product category. For example, a Neon account or a VIAC Pillar 3A or Frankly Pillar 3A or a Revolut credit card, Wise for payments, etc. And when I built this website, which was a cool experience, I realized that I'm not really happy with the products that are to invest money outside Pillar 3A. And that's actually where it all started, about thinking, how could this product look like? How would I do it? And from there, the idea was born for Findependent.
So it was sort of a natural pivot.
It was actually. I also, back then, I tried to explain customers or friends how they could invest themselves using Swissquote. Yeah. Because with Swissquote it's very easy to buy ETFs as well. But the problem there was that it was if you want to buy regularly and several different ETFs, it becomes very expensive if you don't have a lot of money, because you have this fixed amount, this fixed fee, and also a deposit fee, which is fixed, I think, to 60 francs a year. And what I also, this is one thing, the fee thing, but I also realized that even if I told my friends, hey, we're going to do that together, I'm going to tell you what ETFs to buy, we do it together on the Swissquote platform, they were not really, they were afraid of actually doing it. Investing was so far away from them that I realized, it's really a problem.
That is still a big issue, I feel, in Switzerland, that many people, they just leave their money on the bank account and don't really do much with it. Why is that the case? Why are we so bad to put the money to work and let it work for us, making money while we sleep?
I think maybe the Swiss in general are a bit more risk averse than maybe other cultures, because we have, or most of us have, very good basics, so we don't need to take as much risk as other cultures to actually get ahead. I think this is one thing, and there are also quite a few misconceptions about investing. One is, for example, that you need to pick the right stock or that you need to pick the right time, which is both just not true.
Yeah. It's not playing the lottery. It's actually being smart about your money.
Absolutely.
We will talk about investment strategies, etc., in a bit. What I want to talk first is you started findependent as a solo founder. Why was that the right setup for you? Because many people first look for co-founder before they even start working on an idea or something.
So maybe important to understand is that I did not leave Neon with the idea of founding or building my own app. I just wanted to have a project on my own, and then the idea with the app just came naturally. And at that point, I was like, oh, this would be nice. I'm missing this product in the market. Can I build this? So it was not like I want to be a founder and I'm looking for a team and then we're going to spin ideas. It was rather like, oh, this is a product that's missing. Could I build this? And at that moment, I just didn't know anybody who I thought would fit as a co-founder. I talked to one friend who is now working actually with us part-time, but back then he was not open to go on this journey with me. And actually, the reasoning I had in my mind is that if I start on it and maybe achieve 1 or 2 milestones on my own, it's easier for other people to actually see that I'm committed and to see where we want to go and then to join as well. So I thought I would start reducing some risks and then others could join me. That was the reasoning. I never actually wanted to do it on my own, but it just happened.
I see. Do you ever regret that you did it on your own? Because sometimes it's good to have a co-founder when you go through a bad time, a low, and you have someone to carry the weight with you.
Absolutely. I mean, I would not, or I mean, you can do it alone, but in general, I would advise against it. And if you start alone, it's very important that you really spend a lot of time thinking about who you're going to bring in and talk to potential co-founders and really make this a very important milestone on your journey. Because if you cannot build a good team, then sooner or later you're just lost. You cannot do it yourself all alone, right? So I worked the first 9 months alone, which is a really long time. But then I was really happy that Nadine joined first just as an intern, and she stayed then. Because once you are two, you can bounce ideas. And so many things you work on, just iterate, get better by iterating it. And it was a game-changing moment once I was able to iterate with an employee. I mean, you can bounce ideas with your family, with your friends, etc., but they are never as involved as another person in the team, right?
I fully agree. Yeah. And you're active in this personal finance topic. Where does your interest about that topic come from? Your CV is very clear, the banking studies, the internships, Neon, etc. But was that always in you, the topic of personal finance, or when did you start investing yourself?
Actually, I also thought about studying architecture.
Okay.
So, but then I decided to go for business. And then at the University of Zurich, decided to focus on business and corporate finance and banking, because it was just better managed than the other departments. And then I started realizing, okay, I like that. Yeah. And then also went to University of St. Gallen and did banking and finance again. Still liked it. And also during my studies, I started investing myself. Started to learn about ETFs, which was a rather new concept back then in Europe. Was already bigger in the US, but in Europe was quite small back then. And I started to really like it, and also learned about how important actually investing is if you do it over your entire life, and how crazy it improves your financial possibilities versus only using a savings account over your entire life. Yeah. And then I got fixed to the idea, actually.
Amazing. You just mentioned two very important parts. ETFs, exchange traded funds. So it's basically funds that are traded on the stock market that you can just easily buy and sell. And the other one, timing, or time in the market, better said, that everything compounds. So why is it so important that people start to invest? What is it that you can gain from that in terms of the financial freedom or bigger financial capabilities?
I think it's very important to understand that your long-term savings, if you just hold it on the saving accounts, it loses value. Maybe not nominal, the number does not get smaller, but what you can buy with that amount loses value over time. And it's maybe only 1 or 2% a year, but that compounds over time as well. So you lose quite a bit if you hold it on 20 years or 30 years just on the savings account. And it's completely the same on an investment account. It's maybe also just, let's say, 5% a year, but it compounds as well. And over 30 years, it makes it makes a difference easily of several 100,000 francs, right? Yeah. So once you realize that, it becomes a no-brainer.
And then the time that you actually do that, it just gets bigger and bigger. It really compounds, and then you're actually in the exponential area. And that's very difficult for us humans to grasp, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And the thing is, like, the second thing you mentioned is the ETF thing. So to actually benefit from this exponential growth or this exponential return, you don't need to pick the right stock. It's simply enough if you invest in the entire market. And this is very easy if you use the right ETFs or index funds. So everybody can do it. You can do it on yourself. You can do it with a tool that we provide. It's not rocket science. It's rather getting people to the point where they understand it and start to doing it.
And ETFs are great because they allow you to diversify. So yeah, as you said, you don't have to pick a single stock, which would be more close to playing the lottery, I would say. You can really diversify and be invested with one product in hundreds or even thousands of company. Why are stocks the right investment for you compared to, let's say, bonds or gold or real estate? Why are stocks so interesting and also so important in that journey?
I mean, we in our investment solutions at Findependent, we also have bonds and we have real estate. We'll very soon we'll have gold as well. But stocks is really the most important asset class because over a very long period of time, it gives you the highest return. And yeah, just because of that, actually.
Very simple. Long term, if you can wait 10 plus years, stocks probably give you the best bang for the buck.
Exactly. And a diversified stock portfolio is not that risky compared to other investments that you could do.
Yeah. We once did very, very early on when we started Swisspreneur an episode with Remo Uherek, also a big personal finance enthusiast. And he said, look, the stock market goes up and down on a daily basis, but over the long run, it goes up.
Yeah.
And that was sort of mind-blowing for me to really get it that simple that, hey, don't worry about the daily ups and downs. Long-term, 10 plus years, you'll be more than fine.
This is also a very big misconception that people have. They don't understand that the risk of investing is pretty much determined by how long you invest. So if you look back at the Swiss stock market last 30 years, if you just invest for one day, I think it's 45% up and 64% down. So it's basically playing a roulette. But that changes completely, as you said, over 10 years or over 20 years, it grows to almost 100%. And this is also something that people that don't really understand and which is very important to actually get and grasp.
Now, there's this saying that time in the market is much more important than timing the market.
Yeah.
So put it there, let it work for the long term, and don't even worry about it.
Absolutely. I think one problem with that is that it's boring.
Sure.
So, I mean, and it's not really a problem for yourself, but it's rather a problem for the media, because like we need news, right? And we also need news on the markets, and a lot gets written and said about the market going up, going down. Why is it going up? Why is it going down? But in the end, for a long-term investor, it's not really that relevant. But since there is a lot of news, you get the feeling that you have to do something, that you have to be active, that you have to trade on the news, that you have to do something, buy something, sell something, which is not really true. It's just, it's a bit of a problem.
It's boring. You also want to be busy, right? You want to do stuff. You want to feel like you can influence it.
Yeah.
You don't. 5 minutes a month, you put your trade into the ETF and you let it sit there. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do something more worthwhile with your time.
Absolutely.
Do something great.
Spend it with great people. It's
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
much
That's
better
a good idea. I like that.
So let's also talk about how findependent works. So let's say I get it, why it's important to invest, because I don't want to lose value due to inflation of my money. So I put it to work to get 5, 6, 7% of return per year with stocks. How do I start? How can findependent help me to get started with my investment journey?
Sure. So the first thing you need to do is open an account with us. You download our app, and then it takes you 10 to 15 minutes, where you do actually two things. First, you open your bank account at our partner bank. Maybe we can talk about that next. And you also answer questions about your risk. You want to take a high risk or a lower risk? How long do you want to invest? What's your goal you invest for, etc., etc.? And then actually, if Independent suggests you an investment solution, you can override it. You can choose something else. A lot of our customers actually choose something else, but we help you find the right investment solution for you. So this is important. And once you've done that and opened your account, typically the next day the account is ready, and you just make your initial deposit. You get your IBAN, make a deposit. Independent is going to invest it for you the same day, and then you're invested. And if you want to do another deposit, you do it. We're going to invest it. If you want to do a standing order, like most of our customers do, this is the best thing you actually can do, because you invest regularly. And once you want to take the money out, you can take out whatever amount you want. We sell the respective ETFs and pay the money out again. So it works almost like a savings account, but it's way more worthwhile long term.
Absolutely. And how much money do I need to get started with Independent?
This is also a good question. It's 500 francs with us, and we found this is a really good sweet spot, because like at some places you can also invest with 1 franc, but we talk to people and that sounds already a bit not that serious anymore. It's like, oh, 1 franc, yeah, that cannot be serious, and it's still it's for most people it's high enough that they actually care and think, oh, this is serious money. But it's still low enough that you say, okay, I'm open to try something out with that amount. No. So I think it's a very good sweet spot, and I'd say half of our customers start with 500 francs.
But I assume with 500 francs, you put in a lot of effort, right? You have to do the onboarding, you have the platform. You don't earn that much money with a customer that invests 500 francs.
Absolutely. To be very precise, we don't earn anything, because you can invest this first 2,000 francs for free with us. So we have we had this idea of a freemium model. So we thought, like, why not letting people trying out for free, and once they're happy with the product and they understand why they should invest, sooner or later they all want to invest more than 2,000 francs, right? So and at that point we would also earn a small fee. But you're right, I think like small customers below 5,000 francs, we don't earn really a lot of money on it.
Is it a challenge to get people above that threshold?
Some, yes, but overall, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about fees are of course very important. You mentioned Swissquote, for example, before. I also used Swissquote back in the days, but as you say, it just eats into your profits basically. So everything that you have in fees is basically reducing your potential return. Yeah. So how does your fee structure look like?
a lot of important information in this sentence from you. So the fee structure, the most important thing to understand is all fees depend on the amount of money you invest with us. With Swissquote, it's a bit different. You have high minimum fees, which is a problem for smaller amounts. With us, it's not a problem. So it's very easy to start with 500 francs. It's no more costly if you start with a smaller amount than with a larger amount. And also, if you do regular payments, it does not cost you each time. It's very, very worthwhile to do it with a standing order. The problem with fees is that there are several different kind of fees. And it's not just with us, it's with every other or almost every other product is the same, but not each product is as transparent as the others. So on our website, you even have an interactive calculator where you can put in whatever you want to invest, and we show you all the fees that you have, because we can, if we could, we would skip all the fees and do just an all-in fee, but it's not possible. So the next best thing we can do is make it really transparent. And there's also independent studies from Moneyland where they compare digital investment managers as we are, and the study says we are the cheapest as well here in Switzerland.
Yeah, amazing.
This episode was brought to you by Google Cloud, a partner that needs no introduction. What you might not have heard of, though, is that Google offers a Google for Startups cloud program where they give you access to startup experts, technical training, business support, and cover your Google Cloud costs up to $200,000 for 2 years, or even $350,000 if you're an AI startup. Scale your startup faster and smarter with Google Cloud. Head over to goo.gle/Swisspreneur.
And a question on that, usually it's on the percentage, a fixed percentage of the amounts that you invest, right? I wonder, why not changing that game? I know this is like industry standard, but why not go a different way and say, hey, customers, we only charge you based on performance. So if you make money, which you all think you will do in the long run, we only charge you then. Is that simply not possible because you would need much more cash flow to invest and keep the show running? Or why does no one offer a pure performance-based pricing?
Yeah, you're right. No one offers a pure one. Most hedge funds, you pay a performance fee and a standing fee. And sometimes I know some product where you can choose. You can have a lower base fee if you add a performance fee, or you can have a higher base fee and no performance fee. It's just industry standard. And I think the reason it is because like, even if it goes up long term, it can go down a year or two.
Sure.
And I mean, if that's your only service you provide, a year or two without revenues can break the neck of almost every company.
Of course. Yeah. Especially if you have high fixed costs with like a platform, software, etc.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like at the moment, as a young startup, it's not that much of a problem because like we rely on external funding anyway. So we could also, our revenue is not that high. We could go 1 or 2 years more without revenue. It would work. Yeah. But once you are profitable, you cannot sustain that, right?
Yeah, got it. And I also wonder, in the space that you're active in, you know, financial services, especially investments, are highly regulated. How does that impact you as a startup? Because you don't have the resources to hire a whole compliance team to sort that out for you.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, regulation is a topic since day one. And I mean, if you found a company in that space, you don't need to become a regulatory expert, but you need to learn also in that respect, and you need to have some interest also in that area and understand the rule and want to play by the rules. So actually we had to incorporate very, very fast once I had the idea, because only once we were incorporated, we could also start getting our first license as a manager. And only once we were regulated, we could actually talk to a partner bank, because like with this business model, no bank would actually touch you if you're not regulated.
Absolutely. And talking about banks, you work with the Hypothekarbank Lenzburg, a very innovative player in the Swiss banking sector. How did he actually start the collaboration with them?
Actually, it's interesting that they were not the first bank we talked to. We talked to another bank which partners with other robo-advisors. But then Neon also did an intro for us at Hypothekar Bank Lenzburg. I also knew some people back from Neon because Neon also works with that partner bank. And then I realized that for what we want to do, Hypothekar Bank Lenzburg is, or HIPI or HBL, as you want to say, it's just a way better fit. And so we decided to go with them.
Got it. And how does that collaboration work? Do you sort of like build your own front-end software that the customer sees and interacts with? And in the background, all the banking services, the sort of the regulation parts is done by the bank's partner, or how does it work?
In the end, the customer gets an account with the bank. So the money and ETFs is not with us. But then we are not just the front end. It's a bit different with Neon, for example. Neon is just a tech company. It's just the front end to the bank. But we are also a financial services company. So we are a regulated asset manager. So actually, our company has two parts. One is the tech part, building the app, building the front end, building the entire user experience. And one is being an asset manager. So doing the risk profiles of our customers, do the investment management, calculate the trades, send the trades to the bank.
Got it. So that also screams like more regulation than Neon.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, on the one hand side, it's bad because you need to do it. But on the other hand side, you also have more possibilities.
Fair.
Because like in the areas we can do ourselves, we can do whatever we want, right? Yeah. And if you have no license at all, this can be a limitation.
Right. Yeah. I also want to talk about client acquisition because that's probably one of the most important things for you. You need more clients, you need higher volumes of invested money to also make more money with your business. How do you acquire new clients today?
There's not one channel that does it all. So it's several different channels. But what's important on all those channels is that we can somehow educate the customer a little bit and build trust. Because like investing needs a lot of trust. Yeah. So which channels do we have where we have easily some trust? What is working very well is referrals. So and we have a lot of referrals since many of our customers like our product. So because there, if a friend already uses it and tells you, hey, Sylvan, this is really a great product, you trust this friend and you say, I'm going to try it out myself, right? So this is a good channel for us. Another good channel for us is working with affiliates. So we work together with a lot of financial bloggers. They write about our product. They try out our investment app. And this also creates a lot of trust, right? So people Google stuff, read about it, and say, if he says this is a good thing, or she, I'm going to try it out as well. This works very good. And also PR, public relations works very well. And also deals we do with partner. We did quite some deals with... how is it called? Day Deal from Brock after Höhle der Löwen. Maybe we can talk about that a bit later. Yeah. And this also works very well because like there again, you have a brand or a platform. They say this is serious. This is a good thing. And then our people are open to try it out. On the other side, it does not work at the moment. It's actually just doing ads. So if you have never heard about Findependent and we do an ad in your Instagram feed, you think, I'm not going to send them my money.
No.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Course. It's one of these scams like get rich quick schemes.
Exactly. I mean, the good thing is every month more people know about our name and about the brand, but the brand is still very young and small. So this channel does not work at the moment for us.
Makes sense. So you really use and leverage this trust either through influencers or opinion makers or the personal network where you then really say, my friend recommended that to me. I trust it's a good thing.
Yeah, perfectly summarized.
And I also wonder, the people that you acquire as clients, you offer competitive rates. You're the cheapest in Switzerland. Your product is loved by your users. But at the same time, I feel like the market potential is so much bigger in this untapped market where people don't invest yet. How much of the people that already invested somewhere else before are your customers and then switch to you because you're cheaper versus how many people can you really motivate and incentivize to invest? Because that's probably the huge potential, but also incredibly difficult to activate.
Yeah. And we always had the idea of attracting both those groups. So people who have never invested and people who already invest and pay way too high fees at another place. And but if we look at the data of the customers that we have 80% customers who have already invested somewhere else or are invested somewhere else. So only like 1 in 5 customer is actually a first-time investor. And it's very easy to see, and you know why, because it's just very hard to get people started with investing. I even see that in my personal network. I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people from my network talk to me because they know I started this company in this space, and they are so kind of interested, but also kind of afraid. And I'm showing them and say, just try it out. You cannot lose anything. Just try it out. And they are very hesitant. But maybe half a year or a year later, they come again and they say, now I'm ready. I want to do it. Let's do it. So for many people, this is really a process. They need quite a few touch points and think, it's not for me. It's not for me. And then they hear it again and again. And one day they are ready. And then they come and then they do it, and they're very, very happy that they do it. And it's also interesting how they then react when it goes a bit up or down, because if you only invest 500 francs, it only goes up a couple of francs or up or down, right? But it feels like magic to them, and I totally understand why, because if you're not used to that, it feels like magic. How can it be 500 and then 510 the next day and then 490 the next day again? And they, some people, when they start investing, they write me every couple of days. It went up, it went down, it went up, and then, after a month or so, they get used to it, and then we talk again about other things.
Luckily.
Luckily.
And of course, you also needed money yourself, not to invest in the stock market, but to invest in your business. You raised 2 different rounds of financing. And you mentioned before, one of them was in the Swiss Shark Tank version, Höhle der Löwen. Please tell us more about how that went down for you.
That was a very important experience, and also a bit a good learning for me as a founder. Initially, I actually didn't want to go. I was not really eager to see myself in TV. But I knew from Neon, because Neon was 1 year before there, I knew that it was very worthwhile for them. And one evening, my girlfriend suggested, why didn't you go there? And then I checked and I saw, okay, application is still open. And I handed in the form, and then I never heard back, almost forgot about it. But one day they reached out to us and said, "Hey, we want to do a casting next week. Can we do that?" I was okay, a bit spontaneously, but we can do that. We would love to be in. And then we did a casting, an online casting, and they replied, "Yeah, you're in the show. Can you come in 2 weeks to actually film the show?" And we were like, "Oh, okay, this is really going fast." But we were, it was very interesting. So the most important thing for the TV operator is that they have a good show, right? And they knew that an app product like ours would probably be interesting for the lions, for the jury, but they were always thinking about, can you make it more interesting for the TV show? Can you do something special? And we were like, we would love to do something special, but we also want to present the product and be serious and these things. And we came up with the idea of having a money tree. So we bought a very small tree and put real money, real Swiss money on it. And we made an example of, I don't remember the amount, but if you invest this amount for 10 years, you just get $20 of interest, but you get more than 1,500 francs if you invest it and let the money grow on this tree. And the tree actually looked really cool on the TV, and it was also close to what we actually do, and we really liked it well. And the most important thing is we got an investment from Roland Brack. Also, we had other offers, but we decided to go with him because I heard good things from Neon about him. And after after the episode, actually, Lucas Speiser came to us. He also wanted to invest in us and said, yeah, we did a very good job. And he was very disappointed that he could not invest. And I was thinking, I would love to have him also in the company. And so we split the amount. We actually gave to Roland a part of it. Lucas did. So we got both of them as investors.
2 lions on board now.
Yes. Lucas is even in the board.
Fantastic. Yeah. We had his co-founder Alan on the show, and Roland, of course, also has been a guest here.
Nice.
That was a great episode.
Really good people. Really
Absolutely.
Good people. Yeah.
So now, you have the lions on board. You have over 7,500 users. The future is looking pretty good. It feels you're getting started. You're building more traction. What are the next and most important milestones you want to tackle?
Actually, we even have more than 8,000 customers by now.
So it goes so fast.
It goes fast. It goes up. This is great. We have 2 priorities actually. We want to grow in terms of users, but also in terms of money. Users invest with us, and we want to make the product better for our users. So we have a lot of product service. We know where we can improve the product, what our customers would love the most, and we really want to execute on that roadmap.
No.
The goal is to stay an investment specialist. So we don't want to launch a card or a payment account, or we really want to focus on investments, but maybe we also go into very close products.
Got it. What are close products? What could that be?
A very close product would be a Pillar 3A.
Okay.
But there are a lot of companies already offer Pillar 3A. So we would not just launch another Pillar 3A. We would come up with something, which we also think we would get our space in the market. Fantastic.
And since you're both personal finance enthusiasts, I would say, I would like to sort of summarize, the key principles behind, I think we both share some similar thinking. Let's come up with the 5 very simple ideas or concepts behind investing.
That sounds nice.
The first one, I would probably say, as Jori shared before, invest because inflation is eating up your money. So it's important that you start with investing at all, basically.
Yeah.
The second, then you have to think about what to invest in. What would you say there?
The good thing is that you don't really need, as I mentioned before, you don't need to find the perfect stock. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to think about stocks at all. You're just going to invest in the entire market. Use one ETF, use several ETFs, but then you are just covered. And I always say, if you buy ETFs, you just buy a very small percentage of the entire world economy.
Right.
It goes down, it goes up, but long term it goes up and you benefit with it.
Yeah. Then third will probably be in it for the long term because everything compounds, and that is something that is even bigger than our brains can think.
Absolutely. It's so and also if you take that one step further ahead, it means that today is the best day to start.
Yeah.
If you haven't started yet.
Yeah. And the fourth, you also mentioned, we didn't name it, but cost dollar averaging, that you purchase every month, maybe like a part of your salary whatsoever, to get the average price.
Absolutely.
Right?
And it's so simple. You just set up a standing order, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you use a tool like our investment app where it gets invested automatically once the money arrives. You just make a standing order. Everything else is done. Yeah. And another trick with respect to that is start with a small standing order with whatever amount you can afford. And then if you get more money, maybe if you get a raise or something like that, increase that standing order. Yeah. Because then the money is already out of the account and you're not going to waste it on things you don't need anyway. And,
exactly.
and the money grows.
Yeah. And I will probably add the last tip. Don't check the news or the performance on a daily basis. Just let it sit there. Don't even worry about it and look at it maybe once a year to do your tax filings. And that's it, ideally.
Yeah, and this is the problem with the app that we have, right? If you have an app, naturally, you're going to check way more often. Mm-hmm. And an app is a good thing because it helps you actually to get started and set it up very efficiently. But then I think for some investors, it would be better to have a more difficult login to actually than just the eye scan, because if you look a lot and you cannot handle it, you make mistakes. Maybe you take the money out or something like that.
Exactly.
So it's also a big part of independence, educating our users about those things.
Fantastic. So to summarize, invest because inflation is eating up your money. Buy a piece of the world economy through a low-cost, diversified stock ETF. Be in it for the long run because everything compounds. Fourth, invest every month to get the average price. And fifth, don't even care about it. Don't look at the performance.
Absolutely.
I love
and
that.
The great thing about this, it really does not take a lot of time.
Yeah.
You set it up once, and then maybe every quarter you do the payment, or every month maybe you have a standing order. Then you don't even have to do that, and it just runs.
Yeah.
So, and you can focus again on other things, and you're set up very well financially.
Mm-hmm. So now to wrap up the conversation, I also have some rapid fire questions. And the first one, of course, I got to ask you, what does your investment portfolio look like nowadays?
Actually, I use Findependent and only Findependent. I have everything I have invested outside the Pillar 3A is with Findependent. It's not a really big amount, to be honest. The money is in the company,
sure.
But everything that is invested is with us.
And you do like 100% stocks, or what's your strategy?
I think it's 80% stocks, but it's rather because then you can do 100% stocks also with Independent, but I want to invest like the most common investment solution. I want to invest like our customers do, most likely. That's why I decided to go with 80% stocks. Makes sense. It's not really my personal finance situation that dictates that, but rather my role as a founder.
Makes sense. And do you have like a financial goal? Do you have a number in your mind that you want to achieve?
Actually, not. Okay. Actually, to be honest, I work a lot with money. Money is all around me. I mean, not like I have a lot, but it's part of almost every conversation I have. But privately, money is not that important to me. I see it more like a means to some ends that are bigger than financial.
And what has building Findependent taught you so far, if you had to pick one lesson?
I think I learned that how far you can get with building something if you just do it consistently, day after day after day after day. It's really impressive.
It sounds like investing. Everything compounds.
Yeah, it's similar. It's similar. Nice.
And what's your favorite Findependent memory so far?
I mean, you probably know that Hülle der Löwen is not live TV.
Yeah.
So it gets recorded. So we knew we have a deal, and then it gets aired maybe half a year or some months later. And we invited all our friends and family to watch it together at our office. And this was very great.
They didn't know, right?
We weren't allowed to tell them, right, the outcome. So only the very, very inner people actually knew the outcome. And we knew what would happen, but we haven't seen it as well. So we were very interested how they're going to cut it, how will it look like, etc. It was a very great moment. And then also to see, I mean, it has a huge impact also on the website, on downloads, on registrations. And it was a very cool moment.
Amazing. Yeah. I love that. And the last question for you today. What's your prediction for the stock market next year? 2024?
Doesn't matter.
That was a trick question. I love it. It doesn't matter because in the long run, it goes up and don't care about the months or the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Hey, Matthias, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really love what you're building. As a personal finance enthusiast, it's great to talk about that topic and hopefully inspire more people, motivate more people to start their investment journey if they haven't done so yet. Absolutely. All the best, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, Sylvan.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you can support us by rating our show on Apple Podcasts. This way, we can reach an ever-growing number of aspiring entrepreneurs.